Brothers and sisters, good morning, good afternoon. Today is day 15. Man, I keep forgetting today. I got that CTE from boxing, I'm swear. Today is a privilege to wake up. Today is a blessing that to just be alive right now and to just be with God right now. God said, I'm not done with y'all yet, and we got a mission to do. Today we're going to be talking about why do bad things happen. So if you didn't read from the title, today we are talking about why do bad things happen. One of the most questions that unbelievers ask, you know, when they have our little debates with Christians, or even us Christians, we ask, if there is a loving God, He loves us so much and He cares about us so much, then why do bad things happen? Why do innocent people have to die each and every single day? Why do innocent children have cancer and they die at such a young age? Why do our pets die when all they did was serve us well and were loyal to us? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why is there so much murder and rape and racism and you know, sexism in this entire world? And if God was truly loving and all-knowing like how He said He is, then why does He not put a stop to this? Why does He just let this happen? Now I'll tell you what, when we ask these type of questions to God, we don't be asking them in a season of blessings, when everything is just going right in our life. When we're in a season of blessing and we're in that nice area in our life, like, you know, we got our finances are taken care of, we're healthy, we have family, close, tight relationship and friendships with our brothers and sisters, and we're more thankful in those seasons of blessings. But we really start to ask those questions. If there's a God out there, you know, we start to ask those questions when we're in hospital or in grave sites, or we ask and we question after betrayals, addiction, and trauma, and after loss. And let me tell you, it's not. When we ask these questions, it doesn't mean we lack faith. It doesn't. It means we're human. Even I, as a Christian, I sometimes wonder, well, God, why is this happening? Even pastors have questioned, you know, why is God letting these things happen to their lives? Even a lot of famous people and well-known people in the Bible question God, why? For example, David in Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? So far from my cries of anguish. David, the man after God's own heart, right? He's out here questioning God, my God, why have you forsaken me? It doesn't feel like you're here, God. Or even the prophet Elijah cries out to God in anguish after the son of the widow he was staying with has died. It says in 1 Kings 17:20, then he cried out to the Lord, Lord my God, have you brought tragedy even on this widow I am staying with by causing her son to die? Jeremiah even asked why. Job asked why. We'll get back to Job. But even himself, even God himself, Jesus Christ we're talking about, Jesus himself even cried out to the Lord. He cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? So we're not the only people who ask God these questions when certain tragedies and certain bad things happen to our life. We only wonder because we're human. So it kind of just really tells you the question, well, if these guys suffered and we're suffering, why is there so much suffering in this world? Why do we suffer so much in this world? Well, I'll tell you what, well, originally, this was a perfect world. There was no sin, there was no tragedy, there was no chaos, there was no violence. It was perfect, but until Genesis 3, it shows that sin entered the world through Adam and Eve. And the moment that happened, the moment Eve ate the forbidden fruit, she got tempted and she ate the forbidden fruit, that's when death, that's when sicknesses, violence and pain and loss entered the world, was that moment. Originally, God has created the perfect world for us, but sin broke it. And now today we have to live in that aftermath of what Adam and Eve did, unfortunately. So bad things happen not because God is evil. God is not evil. He loves us. God is love and God is truth. But the reason why bad things happen is because we live in a fallen world. We live in a world full of despair and loss because of our ancestors' actions, because of Adam and Eve. So this doesn't mean cancer is not in God's heart. It doesn't mean abuse is in God's will. God doesn't want abuse. Murder is not even in God's design. Addiction is not even God's desire. None of the stuff that we struggle with, when we struggle with addiction, loss, and guilt, and shame, and lust, all that stuff, tragedy, loss, God does not approve of that. He doesn't like that. He doesn't sit back and enjoy it. He hates it. He hates it as much as we do. So Jesus said in John 16:33, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace in this world. You will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world, said Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So he doesn't say you might have trouble. He doesn't say, well, you know, when you're a Christian, you're going about your daily life, you might stumble upon some issues and stuff like. No, he says you will have trouble in this world. You will. It's going to happen. You will suffer loss. You will deal with certain addictions and problems and bad habits. You will deal with tragedy in your life. It is bound to happen to every single human. Let me tell you what, some of the strongest believers you'll ever meet in your life, they were forged in suffering. Because like let's say because this is another thing I want to talk about, my brothers and sisters, is that if God really stopped every bad thing that has to happen in this world, the only way he could do that is to stop sin. How can you stop sin? You have to remove us. You have to remove every single human on this planet. Because animals don't sin. The birds in the sky, they don't sin. Your dog doesn't sin. Because they don't have the free will like we do. Because our choices have consequences. Our free will is what literally made sin. God loves us tremendously to give us free will, but if he took it all away, we all be robots. We all be programmed to be good. But my brothers and sisters, instead of destroying this world, instead of God removing sin and then removing us, instead of destroying the world, he stepped into it. God himself stepped into this world to see the pain and see the struggle that we are dealing with, so he can give us a certain escape plan from all this entire world. So Jesus has felt every horrible thing alive. When he was alive, during the Gospels, he saw that tragedy. He saw the horrible, pure evilness of the human heart around him. Jesus wept is the shortest verse in the Bible because he was experiencing so much loss and tragedy and so much pain because of this world. See, Jesus really did feel every bad feeling. He was betrayed, he was beaten, he was mocked, he was made fun of. Jesus was nailed to a cross, both hands, both feet. So God knows our pain, because if God really wanted to distance himself from suffering, Jesus would never walk on the earth. Jesus would never even suffer it in the first place. God knows our pain, because Jesus Christ is literally the character of God. He says he's the son of the Father. He is the image of God. So when he experienced all those horrible things, the pain he felt, God felt it too. And that's why he understands how we feel. So this, because of all he did, all because Jesus Christ nailed himself on the cross and took the beatings, the mockery, the abuse from the Roman soldiers and the Jewish higher ups. He knows our pain personally. He understands our pain personally. Even the entire chapter of Isaiah 53 states that he was a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. That's what Isaiah 53 says. The entire chapter, read it. It tells you that Jesus was born into a carpenter family, a poor family. Jesus wasn't born into royalty. Another thing I want to talk about is when Job lost everything, when he lost his family, when he lost his finances, when he lost his health, even a little bit of his health, because he had disease as well, guys. God never gave him a detailed explanation of why it happened, why God did this to him. But what God did give him, though, was his presence. He gave Job his presence. God never left him. God was always right there. Every prayer, every time he cried out to the Lord, and Every time he was just waking up, God was there with him. No matter how bad Job's life was, God was present. So brothers and sisters, here is the hardest truth. Some why questions will never be answered for eternity. We can question God all we want, but we'll never understand why God does these things. Maybe it's for our own well-being. Maybe it's just personal. We'll never really understand. It's never even stated at all why Job suffered. But one thing's for sure is that what he lost, he earned twice as much back. When he lost his family, his cattle, his farm, his health, his finances, he earned it all back twice. God gave him the double amount that he lost. And God was still present. Sometimes God doesn't explain why the storm, while we're in the storm, why the storm even happened. Instead, he'll just step in it with us. Just like how he did to Job. Just like how he's still there with Jesus on the cross when he was dying out. Just like when you were at your lowest moment, or when you were dealing with loss or grief or trauma. When you're at your lowest point, God is still with you regardless. He will never leave you. So when you're caught up in that storm, God literally steps in it with you. Psalm 34:19 says, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." God never promised no pain, no suffering, no loss. He never promised us that. He never did. But he did promise that he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. He will never leave you and abandon you like abandoned property. He will never do that to you. Instead, he will redeem what you thought destroyed you. Those issues and all that loss and all those bad feelings, those bad things that you dealt with, those things that you really think of and you thought it really destroyed you at your lowest, he will redeem you from that. In fact, you probably earned twice as much as you lost, just like Job did. God has to sometimes remove or make you go through certain situations to get the true best out of you, because he sees the full potential that you have. He does. He sees that potential that you could have that you don't know, but you have to experience these certain things to happen to know. So why do bad things happen? Well, we live in a broken world. Because people have free will to do whatever they want. If you want to go murder somebody, you can go murder somebody. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm not encouraging you to do any of that. I'm not encouraging you to go rape somebody or to murder somebody. But you can still do that out of free will and free choice. Is it morally wrong? Yes, it is. Is it going to get you a little further from God? Yes, it is. But you could do it if you wanted to. You could do whatever you want. You could be the president if you want to. You could be the best semi-truck driver. I don't know. I'm just saying anything in my mind. You have free will to do whatever you want in this world, because God loves you tremendously to give you that. So that is why bad things happen, is because the choices we make have consequences. If we do good things, then yes, there are going to be some good things that come out of those situations, but the enemy might see that. He might even just be mad at you for doing something good, and he might throw a rock at your face. Literally. Every choice you make in this world out of pure free will has a consequence to it. So even when you don't know what's going on, he's still shaping you. He still knows what's best for you. He's shaping you to become a better person, because he sees beauty in the ashes. And I know that one day he will wipe every single tear from our face. It is written in Revelation 21:4, he will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death. There'll be or mourning or crying or pain, for the older of things has passed away. He's talking about how all this trauma and loss we deal with, it's all going to be gone one day. And all the tears and all the crying that we do, it's all going to be wiped away. It's all going to be wiped away. The final word is not pain. The final word is not suffering. The final word is not even trauma. The final word belongs to God, and his word is restoration. So if you are currently someone who is questioning God right now, and you don't understand why these certain things, these bad things are happening in your life, I highly recommend you read the book of Job. Because I'm going to be real with y'all. The hard truth is that we'll never know why we had to go through these things. Sometimes we could spot them, just like myself. Like, I had to remove someone who was really good for me, who I loved so much for 2 years, got removed throughout my life. But here I am. I'm still alive. I'm still healthier and better than ever. I'm more physically fit. I run miles. I weightlift. I box sometimes still. I'm good right now, but at the time I didn't know what God was doing. But what God was really doing, He was telling me that I'm shaping you. Here I am today to claim that statement and what He's doing. But sometimes we don't understand why. Sometimes He doesn't tell us why these things happen. He never told Job what he had to go through. There's a lot of theories of why God did those certain things to Job, but we'll never understand. So if you are truly going through something that's horrible right now, I will pray for you. Contact me directly and I will pray for you. But I highly also recommend you check out the book of Job in the Bible, because that man has experienced loss more than anybody, I believe, on this planet. And he was innocent too. He didn't do anything to deserve any of that type of suffering. But yeah, we live in a broken world, guys. We live in a fallen world, and mixed with the free choice and the free will to do whatever you want in this life with other humans. You know, you can see on the news every day, you can see on social media, certain kids are getting killed for no reason. School shootings happening, church shootings are happening. You know, the world is slowly slipping away. And you guys should not live for the world, because the world is doomed. It is written that this world is not going to be here forever, and it's gonna get worse and worse, and it is getting worse and worse each and every single year as time goes by. So start living for Christ. Live for Christ. Live for the eternity of everlasting life He has promised us, because there's life after this world. I love you guys tremendously, so very much. I hope you guys have a good day. And I want to remind you that Jesus Christ loves you a lot more. God bless you guys.